Good evening, everyone. Endo Star Saber here once again. Tonight we're going to take a look at going on the offense against Gear 13 meta teams, most specifically what's changed and what to look for when going into it. So now, first of all here, I'm going to be going for the number one spot, just past his payout, so I'm eligible to make a move on that spot. It's good to know what you're getting into before the fight, so you want to be very specific about certain things. First of all, Darth Revan. Gear 13 adds speed, so the question is how much? Looking at Tanaka here, he puts some resources into his teams. I'll just leave it at that. He's got 161 speed addition. That brings him up to 335. So it's very important when you build your team, if you're going to use Jedi Knight Revan, you have to be able to target exceeding that value. I don't have 161 speed in the mods, I know that, but what I do have is the plus 30 speed I get from my leadership ability, which is general, which is one of the big things that'll help you out for this fight. And then it's just doing a little simple math. So now I have 306. Add the 30, that's 336. That's just enough to make sure I go first. So that's the first thing to check there. If you're in a Darth Revan versus Darth Revan match, it's much more difficult because you have to really beat two speed checks. You have to beat your Darth Revan, and you have to beat what also Bastila Fallen. Now, this you kind of do with the Jedi Revan as well. That's why you bring in Yoda. She has 308, so really this is a much easier goal, but depending on your mod composition, you have to be 278 with your Yoda. So that's fortunately a fairly easy task. In my case, I could leave a little bit of damage attached there and still do it. 273, he's technically not faster, but where I do get the speed here is when I bring in my little trump card, which is Hermit Yoda. My Hermit Yoda is also very fast. In fact, because his base speed's very high to begin with, even after the weaker mod set, he's a little bit faster than my Jedi Knight Revan at 308. So he gets to go first, and he can call Grandmaster Yoda assist. And now the other thing to be aware of is when you're facing against these teams, you're also looking at higher health pools. So now I'm looking at roughly almost 90,000 health and protection combined in Darth Revan. He's definitely not squishy. He's also got a decent amount of offense to him for extra damage. He's also got a little bit of crit damage attached to it by having the triangle be the crit set. So those are things to be aware of there. So other things to be aware of here, he still has a Gear 12 HK47, but he has very high crit damage. He has a lot of offense. That's one thing, characteristics you want to be aware of when you're facing him, because HK47 can very quickly turn around the match. And last but not least, and I see Rotanev card actually has all of that, but Sith Trooper, he's built it for crit damage and some decent health. Oh, well, I skipped one of the big ones. There's also Malik. Malik, he's got some tenacity on. And as you can see, he's got health protection. So we're looking at almost 200k, really about 190k health protection combined. So chopping him down is going to be chopping like a tree. It's not an easy feat, but really the only thing that's really changed at this point is you need to make sure that your team you bring to the fight is up to the task of beating the Bastila Fallen, the Darth Revan, where appropriate. And then it's just following the strategy that's worked for you all along and being persistent. It may not work the first time. You have to be very careful. So we're going to go ahead and I got my lineup here. Thrawn's ready to go. I didn't really display my team here, but most of them are not anywhere near mod-wise on par with him. That's okay. It's really just coming in with a strategy and being able to react to things. So like I said, you always want to try to make your Yoda placement closer when possible. That's Grandmaster Yoda. Because he's so short, it's very to call someone else to assist by accident. So when you set your replacement, look for that. Make sure that he's placed close there. So now I've got the tenacity up. I can survive the crap to battle meditation when his Basilisk on Fallen goes. So now I go ahead and hit Darth Revan for the cooldowns. Now I switch back to Sith Trooper, give Grandmaster Yoda the offense up and the other buffs so he can hit Darth Revan, hopefully hard enough to pop him out of this match here. Won't be this time, but he can do a pretty good damage still. And then it's just bringing it around again to him. And as you can see, Gear 13 Darth Revan, he can still take it out. It's not the end of the world that I'm facing at Gear 13. It's just a matter of knowing all your strategies to get through this, because it's definitely not going to be easy for you. You just have to be patient, know what you're doing, pay attention to the various things going on around you, and just keep pressing forward. Okay, got the shot for Savior. That puts me in a little bit of a danger situation, just to be aware of. Okay, lost my Jedi Revan. Not the end of the world. It doesn't necessarily end the fight. You just got to be wary of what's going on and try to adapt to the situation as it develops. So that gives going the Grandmaster Yoda there with all that turn meter, that gives Thrawn a pretty rapid chance following, and I can keep working. Oop. This one may not go as we'd hoped. Still got a chance here. It's just got to take very precise timing on everything. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll do the fracture on Malak. That should buy me a little bit of time to work on Basilisk Fallen. Keep working her with Yoda. As you can see, it's a bit of extra chopping involved. Get that tenacity up every chance you get, because you want to make sure that corrupted battle meditation doesn't affect you too much during the battle. You can always call Hermit Yoda to assist if you're lacking in the other Jedi. So we worked that out okay. We might pull through. It's a very close match. It's going to be a close match, unfortunately. It's going to be staying calm, not losing ourselves, and making sure that we plan our attacks appropriately. I'm going to go ahead and do a little health equalization there because Yoda had good turn meter. Didn't really need to go full. Okay, keep working. See if I can grab that offense up. Offense up is a very handy tool to have when trying to chop down a Gear 13 Malak. Very important to understand that. Keep working Malak. Throw on that tenacity up again. Hit Malak once again. Okay, that fracture really did us a solid this battle. I'd say that probably, if anything, is what's going to win it for us. Not over yet, and we're running low on time, but I'm going to go ahead and place it on auto and try to burst through it here as quickly as we can. Hopefully we'll get the Grandmaster's training up or something, and that should end the battle quickly. Okay, so as you can see, it wasn't too bad. Had a few little hiccups along the way. RNG will do that, especially with the Gear 13 characters. But as you can see, not impossible by any stretch of the imagination. Succeeded into my climb to number 1. I'm going to sit right here and call it evening. This is Ando Starsaber. Until next time, signing out.